Today we come to the second sure sign of a work of God's Spirit. Edwards is trying to help people think about how he believes God has revealed in His Word that we ought to think. If you're a Christian, you should think this way. And one of the things that Edwards wants to say to us is he wants to emphasize the fact that we must love God, and a significant part of what explains why we love God is because we think He's great. We recognize His glory, we see His glory, and we love Him because He is great and glorious. And what he wants us to guard against is loving God purely or simply because He does great things for us. Now, what Edwards is willing to say later on is that he's fine to say, yes, it's okay that you love God for the good things that He does for you. But if you only love Him for the good things He does for you, you kind of look like an unbeliever. And the Bible texts that he points to on this are two. One is in Luke chapter 6, when Jesus says, if you love only those that love you, what good is that? Even unbelievers do that. Even the pagans do that. And so that's one bit of warning. The second warning is in the book of Job chapter 1. And it's a place where Satan comes to God to speak about Job, and God says, consider Job. Have you considered Job? And Satan says, well, of course he loves you. You've given him so many great things. And so even Satan, by Satan's way of thinking, he's thinking, look, if you give somebody great things, they're going to love you back. I mean, if you just give them good things. And so Edwards picks up on these, and he says, look, it's fine if you love God for the good things that He does for you, but you must also find, as you examine your own love for God, a significant part. He would even say the greater part, the more important part of our love for God. We must discern that we love God because He is a great and glorious God. And so he speaks then of the wonderful character that God has. He's holy, He's just, He's perfect and righteous. Also His might. There's other parts about God that are just wonderful and great. And he wants us to think that this ought to be the basis on which we love Him primarily. And then having come to see the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ, having come to see how glorious God is, we will also recognize that this great and glorious God has also done great things for us. That is, on our behalf, He sent His Son to pay our sin debt, and there's many other things. He brings the sun up every day. He keeps our breath of life going. And there's so many other things that He does. And yes, this great and glorious God not only is great and glorious and worthy of praise on the basis of who He is, we also, and it's right to praise Him, we also praise Him for what He does for us. And yet those two components have to exist. And if you only have one component, or you want to consider one component to be the main component is you love God because of His great glory, and then secondarily because of the good things that He does for us.